Shocking. My sister deleted the evidence, but my cloud sync just nuked her $15 million inheritance plot. Picture this. I'm the broke brother in a thrift tee, ramen pockets, and a phone that dies at 12%. Our family's loaded because Dad built an old-school empire. Iron cash, no drama. Except my sister runs on drama like it's espresso. I just fixed the Wi-Fi. That's the mask. What I want. Keep Dad's real wishes safe, keep Mom calm, and maybe retire the broke act before my genes retire themselves. Then boom. A will update shows up in Comic Sans on a dusty USB. My sister grins, and I'm suddenly the thief. She deletes trails, scrubs, chats, frames me, but my quiet cloud sync trap eats delete for breakfast, logs her IP, and hauls every file back. $15 million meets surprise. The judge's glasses slide down his nose as my iPad starts printing deleted texts to the courtroom Wi-Fi printer. My sister whispers, "Turn that off," like I brought a karaoke machine. The page spits out a selfie she took after emptying the trash. The room goes dead quiet. Mom covers her mouth. The clerk blinks like a buffering wheel. So here's the promise. I'll show you exactly how I sank a pro liar who scrubbed everything and what it cost me and Mom when truth landed like a brick. I look broke, right? The cloud calls me owner. Buckle up. Rewind. I'm the broke tech dummy. So, the day this really started, I'm wearing a $3 shirt from a bin labeled mystery sizes. My sister, call her Vanessa because that's her name, walks by and taps my shoulder like she's alerting maintenance. "The Wi-Fi's lagging," she says, snapping her nails at the router like it owes rent. I poke the router. It blinks at me like a sick Christmas tree. "It's fine," I say. "YouTube ads still loading is not a human rights violation." She rolls her eyes. "Dad's estate lawyer is coming by. Can you at least pretend to be useful?" I hold up my cracked phone. I'm very useful. This has Tetris. Look, I play the clown on purpose. Busted phone, thrift tee, noodles in my pocket like a raccoon with a pantry. Dad always said, "Stay low, stay kind, back up everything." He was an old-school millionaire who swore at cloud buzzwords but loved 3 different off-site backups like they were his kids. He also hated drama, which was cute because he raised a drama generator with mascara. Vanessa is the queen bee. She speaks fluent brunch. Every sentence starts with, "I'm not being dramatic, but," and then becomes a TED Talk on being dramatic. Mom is Switzerland with cookies. And me? I'm the IT goblin. I crawl under desks. I label everything with blue tape, and everyone acts like I live behind the printer and hiss at sunlight. That day, I'm in Dad's old shop, which still smells like sawdust and WD-40. There's an iPad in the corner, screen dim, hanging on to one last percent like it's got unfinished business. I forgot to decommission it from the family cloud. Oops, somewhere in the house, a raccoon-sized dust bunny sneezes. The estate lawyer shows up with folders that look heavy. He asks for the Wi-Fi. Vanessa hands him the fancy network name, Vanessa's Villa, because humility is a myth. I slide him the guest code I made that still routes through my quiet corner. Better for guests, I say. He smiles like he has no idea he's inside a labyrinth. Then, the hit. Vanessa walks into the study with a USB stick that looks like it's seen a war. "Dad left this," she says, syrup thick. "An amendment to the will. He wanted things streamlined. As in, everything to her, peace and blessings to the broke goblin." She plugs it in. A PDF pops up. The letterhead spacing is doing the cha-cha. The font is either Comic Sans or its chaotic cousin. The date? Let's call it suspiciously after Dad's last hospital login and not before. My eye twitches so hard my eyebrow tries to leave town. "Wow," I say, leaning in like I've never met a printer. "So official. Is that a fish emoji in the signature?" "It's a flourish," she snaps. Dad was playful. Dad was playful about ketchup, not about legal documents. He printed on thick paper you could use as a cutting board and signed with a pen older than me. Also, the footer says it was printed by a model that didn't exist when he signed it. But sure, vibes. Internally, I'm running checks like a server farm on Black Friday. Out loud, I nod. Makes sense. Here's the thing. I seeded a Canary months back. Family Cloud everyone forgot we had, which I never got around to canceling. I upgraded it to better sharing. I labeled folders boring stuff like taxes, photos, Dad drafts. I knew who would peek. I knew who would swipe. Not because I wanted to trap her, because I needed to know if I was crazy. Humor break. Mom wanders in with cookies that taste like forgiveness. No arguing, she says, passing me one first like I'm about to faint. Vanessa takes 3 like they're evidence she owns the bakery. Let's be adults, Vanessa says, which in her language means sit still while I monologue. I smile. Absolutely. Adulting. Very adult. Inside, I'm doing inventory. The old iPad is still logged in, low battery king, perfect little sync gremlin. The cloud I built, quiet, boring, unbranded, moves deleted to a hidden hole. Devices keep syncing even when trash empties. You don't see it. I do. Vanessa waves the USB. I'll email this to the lawyer. We should respect Dad's wishes. Totally, I say. Dad loved PDFs. She squints. Don't be petty. I'm not. I just never saw Dad choose Comic Sans on purpose. She flares. It's not Comic Sans. Right, I say. It's Comic Serious. My phone pings on life support. A little banner slides down. Shared folder Dad drafts updated. My face doesn't move. I sip lukewarm coffee like it's a tranquilizer. The free family cloud, our Canary mine, just chirped. Vanessa asks for the Wi-Fi again. I hand her the guest code again. She smirks. You keep the real one to yourself? I keep everything to myself, I say, and it comes out lighter than I mean it. She doesn't hear it. She's too busy winning. Here's a micro story. Dad, 2 years ago, watching me eat noodles over a keyboard. Backups are love letters to your future self, he said, flicking a crumb at me. Write them often. I wrote a lot of love letters. I also wrote a trap in lowercase, like a whisper. We gather in the dining room. The lawyer is flipping through binders, heavy with normal, boring legality. Vanessa does that thing where she looks at me and then at the lawyer, like, can you take the trash out? I shrug and study the chandelier. My sister is Queen Bee. Mom is Peacemaker. I'm the broke tech dummy with a silent iPad heartbeat in the shop and a cloud that says, gently, owner. She shows the PDF on her laptop. She beams. I lean in and let my face do idiot awe. So shiny, I whisper. Dad wanted to simplify, she repeats, like a chorus. The date flickers at me. The footer winks. Wrong printer, wrong time, wrong everything. I take another cookie I don't deserve and chew slow. If she's clean, I look unhinged. If she's dirty, the logs will sing. And if I'm honest, I'm scared either way. Because catching family isn't victory. It's surgery with a spoon. Vanessa emails the lawyer. Mom squeezes my shoulder. We're okay, she says, like a question. I nod. Yeah, we're backed up. The forged miracle PDF. She clicks open the amendment like it's a door to Narnia. And wow, straight into a yard sale. The header is stretched like it borrowed pants 2 sizes too big. The margins are drunk. The body text is, I want to say Comic Sans wearing a trench coat? It's got that first day intern made a flyer energy. The title says, Last Will and Testament, with a hyphen. My soul leaves my body, comes back with popcorn. Dad was being modern, Vanessa says, chin high. Like fonts have zodiac signs. He did it himself because he didn't want delays. I squint. Right, he did it himself on a printer that didn't exist yet. She blinks. What? Nothing, I say. Visionary. The signature is a scribble that looks like a fish doing push-ups. There's a fake seal that's basically a clip art stamp with pixels you can count. The spacing between the letterhead and the date is doing long distance. And the date? It swears it's 2 weeks before Dad's last hospital login, except the PDF metadata winks and says, created 3 days after. I can hear kerning screaming in the distance. She scrolls to the meat. Item 1. Vanessa assumes control of the company assets and Liquid holdings. She smiles at Liquid like it's a margarita. Item 2. My brother. She pauses dramatically. Receives a managed education fund to be used when he returns to school. Goal. Responsibility. I clap once. Slow. That's generous. I could finally finish my PhD in microwave noodles. She glares. It's what Dad wanted. My inner voice. Buddy, Dad only wrote in Times New Roman in spite. Also, he said managed, like it meant trust but verify, not send your brother a cafeteria card. Out loud, I'm touched. The lawyer leans over the screen. He's trying so hard to look neutral, his eyebrows freeze. Do you have the original document? Vanessa pats the ancient USB like it's holy. Right here. Dad saved it himself. The USB is one of those freebies from a 2012 trade show. It still has a sticker that says, "Save big at Inkfest." I breathe through my mouth so I don't laugh. Witty, internal monologue time. Imagine crafting a forgery and leaving behind the digital equivalent of muddy footprints, a banana peel, and your home address. Now imagine thinking the best font for $15 million is the one used in kindergarten posters. Bold strategy, cotton. I ask, any drafts? Emails? He usually left notes. She smiles with all teeth. Dad and I had a special bond. Sometimes there are no drafts. Just trust. Mom squeezes her hand. He did love efficiency, she says, voice tiny. And my heart does a weird flop because Mom wants. He's so bad she'll hug a shark if it says namaste. I lean closer. Can I see the printer details? The what? In the PDF properties. It shows the printer model sometimes. I shrug. Nerd thing. She moves the mouse like she's defusing a bomb. Opens properties, and boom. Printed by LaserJet Pro X120. Manufactured date? After the supposed sign date. Oops. She slams the window closed like it bit her. That's irrelevant, she says. Dad could have teleported to the future? I offer. I mean, yeah, he was efficient. The lawyer clears his throat. We'll verify with the notary. Great, she chirps. He was flexible. She scrolls again and lands on a paragraph with charity reallocations, spelled charity reallocations. I almost bite through my tongue. Humor beat. I whisper to Mom. Dad learned to text last year. He still wrote "Love Dad" at the end of every message. You think he learned Comic Sans and forgot spell check? Mom pretends to adjust her glasses and doesn't laugh. Growth. Vanessa clicks a folder named Signatures, like a magician about to pull a rabbit. Inside, a PNG of Dad's signature on a white background with a faint gray box around it, like someone lazily screen grabbed from a scan. She drags it onto a blank doc and shows us how it matches. I nod. It does match, the copy-paste. She bristles. You always undermine. Only typography, I say, and my own life choices. She emails the PDF to the lawyer. CC's Mom. BCC's, probably her boyfriend, not Rick. Then she deletes a few files on her desktop named Draft 2 Final, Endall, Amendment, Real This One. Cute. She empties the trash with a flourish like baptizing herself. My broke phone, on 5%, rumbles. Quiet banner. Dad drafts updated. Then, item deleted. Then, item recovered. The old shop iPad yawns awake like a cat that's been napping, grabs everything, curls back up. I sip air. Vanessa thinks she's erasing chalk from a board. She's writing on glass. She turns to me. You're quiet. I'm thinking about soup, I say, and responsibility. She steps closer, lowers her voice. Don't be a martyr. You never wanted the hard stuff. Let the adults handle it. Internal monologue. I built the hard stuff you order from the concierge. I coded the forklift ballet that padded Dad's balance sheet. I kept those backups singing. But sure, I'm the Ramen Raccoon. Aloud, totally. I hate decisions. Even my noodles decide me. She shakes her head like I'm a tragic poem and snaps the USB shut. We're done here. The lawyer coughs. We will still need to authenticate. Of course, she says. But I mean, obvious, right? The word obvious hangs in the air like a chandelier about to fall. I take another cookie, because if I start talking, I'll say something nuclear, and the bomb needs to wait. She packs up, winks at me like she's giving me a pity cupcake. You'll get your education fund. Maybe finally learn to manage money. Maybe, I say. Would love to learn. As she walks out, I catch one more glance at the footer. Some trash metadata tick-tocking, a creator field that spells her username wrong, twice. My cloud notes it, timestamps it, hugs it. I chew slow. Traps taste better when you let them cool. planting the cloud canary. So here's where I stop being a raccoon and start being a raccoon with a spreadsheet. I upgrade the family cloud, not the shiny one with pastel icons. The boring one I built in Dad's shop, tucked behind a label that says receipts. Free account, family plan, whatever. Except I quietly flip on legal grade audit logs and a hidden hold that treats delete like, cute, now sit in the corner. I pitch it to Vanessa like I'm apologizing. Hey, sharing will be easier if we use the old family cloud. It's better for large files. She nods like she invented large files. Finally, you're being useful. I make folders with names that yawn. Taxes, photos, dad drafts. Inside dad drafts, I tuck subfolders that sound like ambient. Letters to board, estate notes, pending. The bait isn't fake files, it's real gravity. People steal where it looks normal. The quiet rule, I enable. Deletion doesn't delete. It moves copies into a server-side vault you can't see unless your username says owner, which mine does. Version history is immortal. Also, devices stay subscribed even if you empty trash. So, that old iPad in the shop? Still online, low battery villain, sinking like a loyal golden retriever with asthma. I test with something harmless. I drop a doc called Boat Warranty 2019. Immediately, my phone does a faint buzz. The iPad whispers syncing, and the server logs write poetry. Timestamp, device ID, IP, checksum, chef's kiss. I add a tiny sticky note on the router. Guest, B-guest, 5G. That guest network is really a tunnel with training wheels that slides traffic right past my little sentry box. The estate Wi-Fi? Vanessa renamed it Vanessa's Villa. The password is QueenBee24 because subtlety died in this house. Mom finds me, zip tying a cable to a broom handle. Why is the broom taped to the router? Decor, I say. Scandinavian. She hands me a plate of grapes. No more noodles today. Doctor's orders. Mine. Cool, I'll noodle tomorrow. The Canary folders sit there like calm lakes. If no one tosses a rock, I look like a paranoid barista. If someone does, the ripples sing. Stakes are simple. If she's clean, I'm a jerk. If she's dirty, I'm a jerk with proof. Vanessa breezes in wearing sunglasses inside. Where's the password again? I hand her a card. Guest network. Better speeds. She smirks. So I'm a guest in my own house? You're welcome to the Raccoon network too, but it drops during thunderstorms. She snatches the card like a valet ticket. She opens her laptop. I watch her trackpad like a wildlife cam. She joins B-guest 5G. Smiles at the full bars like they respect her. I drop into my admin panel and see her MAC address wink on. Hi, not Rick's MacBook, I whisper. I ping the old iPad just to be sure. It pings back like, still here, boss. It's propped on a shelf behind a jar of nails. Screen so dim you think it's dead until it blinks once, like a lizard. I see dad drafts with 2 PDFs. Executor instructions, PDF, and life insurance scans, PDF. Both empty shells with file names that go brr in a greedy brain. The real stuff lives offline in a fireproof box. Dad labeled, in case of y'all. Vanessa glances at me. What? Nothing. You type loud. She opens mail. Subject lines flash like neon. Amendment urgent. Meeting prep. Charity reallocations V5. My face does nothing. Inside, I'm popping popcorn with my mind. She asks, do we have the notary contact on file? In dad drafts, I think, I say. Casual, like tossing a frisbee. She clicks dad drafts. The iPad inhales. The server purrs. Audit trail starts writing in cursive. Humor beat. My phone dings. Battery at 3%. And the screen says low power mode? Like it's asking if I want to live. I tap, yes, mother. It still coughs out a banner. Dad drafts accessed by Vanessa's MacBook. Vanessa thinks she's alone in a room with a cookie jar. The jar is calling me, play by play. She pokes Executor instructions PDF, sees it's blank, frowns like the waitress forgot her lemon. This is disorganized, she mutters, and starts fixing the universe by creating a new folder called Finals. That's where dreams go to lie down. She drags in her miracle PDF. My cloud hums. The iPad grabs it, kisses the bits, tucks a copy where the sun don't shine. Then she deletes it, empties trash. Does a tiny victory nose flare? The audit log yawns. Stretches, writes a sonnet. Upload event from her home IP earlier. Delete event now. Both tagged to her device ID. Then I see her create notes to lawyer.pages and type for 5 minutes straight. The shared cursor blips through the first line like it's auditioning. I don't read the words. I read the footprints. She asks for the bathroom and takes her laptop with her. Power move. While she's gone, Mom peeks in. You two okay? We're sinking, I say. To what? Consequences. Mom sighs. I hate this. Me too. And I do. I hate being right about family. Vanessa comes back. Fresh lip gloss, fresh lies. We good? We're backed up, I say, and the iPad blinks like it heard the joke. First try fail. She frames me. She hits send on some email, snaps her laptop shut, and gives me that smug, good dog smile. My phone buzzes twice on 2% like a defibrillator. Upload logged, delete logged. I tuck it face down so my eyebrows don't snitch. She packs up, brushes imaginary lint off my shoulder. Try not to break anything, she says, like I chew cables for sport, then heads for her car, heels ticking out a victory lap. Across town, unaware of the danger, that old iPad wheezes and slurps her PDF like spaghetti, stashes a copy, then curls up to die again. My cloud writes an epic. Device name, MAC address, her home IP, checksum. It's bedtime story meets arrest warrant. As the door closes behind her, I pull my laptop and open mail. Ding, from Vanessa to the lawyer. CC Mom. BCC who knows. Subject, urgent. He stole documents. Body. He accessed Dad's files without permission and replaced originals with fakes. See attached. There's a screenshot of a Finder window where Dad drafts looks empty. She cropped out the part where she made a folder called Finals and shoved her forgery in like a toddler hiding peas. Bold move. Another email lands. The lawyer to me, formal capital letters like he ironed them. Cease accessing any digital materials immediately. Your actions may constitute tampering. Police referral if this continues. I sip nothing and taste battery acid. Humor beat. Mom yells from the kitchen, "Do you want soup?" I yell back, "I want due process." She says, "We have tomato." Close enough. I scroll my audit panel. It's a karaoke screen of her greatest hits. Upload from her home network at 11:07 a.m. Delete at 1:23 p.m. on BGuest 5G. Trash emptied at 124 with a flourish you can feel in the packet timing. The old iPad pulled the file at 11 hours, 7 minutes, and 8 seconds because it is a hungry gremlin, and I love it. Then my screen flashes another banner. Photo added, IMG_7732, JPG. I click the preview. It's a mirror selfie in the downstairs bathroom. Victory smirk. Caption in notes. Finally cleaned his mess. A second later, IMG_7732, JPG deleted. Then recently deleted emptied. Then my iPad, recovered. I laugh so loud the router blinks in concern. And because the universe loves punchlines, a third ding, screenshot added, trash empty completed, PNG. She literally took a screenshot of the empty trash like a hunter with a deer, then deleted it. Then my cloud hugged it. I almost text her, "Thanks for your service," but restraint is a muscle. I type to the lawyer, "Understood, I'll refrain." I do not add, "From letting the trap finish marinating." He replies with boilerplate about preservation, which is hilarious, because yes, I am preserving so hard the server is sweating. My brain plays ping pong. Reveal now, save Mom some tears? Or let Vanessa build the world's tallest Jenga, then nudge. If I go early, she spins it as me hacking and stalking. If I wait, she overreaches, and the audit trail goes from tech jargon to paint by numbers. I sit in that awful space where being right feels like wearing wet socks. Across town, unaware that she's live mic'd by physics, she airdrops something to a contact named Not Rick. My log catches the Bluetooth handshake, logs his MAC address like a license plate. I do jazz hands at the void. The iPad coughs, clings to 1%, and still slurps thumbnails like a champ. Then my email pings again. Vanessa to Mom, all sugar. I hate to say this, but I think he's spiraling. He deleted Dad's amendment and is playing games with cloud permissions. Please back me up with the lawyer so we can protect Dad's wishes. There's a little crying emoji. I swear at a plant. Witty internal monologue. Brother, you are the cloud permissions. You're the weather. You make the rain and sell umbrellas at cost. Lawyer again. Any alteration of the shared folders will be reported to the court if necessary. I type back, noted. I won't touch anything. Which is true. I won't touch. I'll watch it sink like nature. My phone gasps. 1%. I grab a charger and flip the power strip with my toe. The strip sparks like a pessimistic firefly. Phone lives. Another banner. Vanessa removed Executor instructions.pdf. That blank decoy I planted. Then, Vanessa created final reel this one PDF. A masterpiece. Then she deletes that too. Trash empty.ipad whispers. Got it. I picture her at a cafe, latte art judging me, typing to her lawyer cousin. He's tampering. Get an injunction. My audit shows a Starbucks IP range. I flag it. Chain of custody's getting a scrapbook. Time was running out. The more she shreds, the nastier this gets. The lawyer's threat? Not idle. One wrong move, the judge hears, hacker Goblin son. And if mom stops trusting me, that's the real loss. I breathe. Soup now helps later, right? Mom sets a bowl by my elbow. You're pale. I'm Cloud, I say. We're gray. She strokes my hair like I'm still 10. Don't fight with your sister. I'm trying not to. I'm building a runway for truth and probably a crash landing. As the spoon clinks, her next email lands like a grenade, forwarded chain to half the family. Subject, for transparency. She frames me line by line. He's been fixing things. He controls the Wi-Fi. He hides devices. She's not wrong. She just skipped the part where crime happened. I click reply all, fingers hovering. Then I don't. Let the logs talk. Let her keep digging. First, try-fail for me is not swinging. Eat soup, trust the gremlin. Let the cloud be the bad cop. And that's when my admin panel lights up red. Someone toggled remove shared device, shop iPad. Her, from Big Yest. She found a menu. She clicked the gun at my Canary. The iPad screen in the shop goes black like a curtain. I grin, which is insane. Because yeah, she removed it. But she did it after it drank everything. And the server? The server doesn't forget. My broke phone pings, smug as sin. Device removed by Vanessa's MacBook. Event recorded. I whisper to the air. Cool. Thanks for signing it. The router and the raccoon. Breathing room. 3 hours later, the universe sends a raccoon with the timing of a sitcom. I'm in the shop staring at the dead iPad like it's a fallen soldier. And outside the window, this furry bandit waddles up the fence, slips, body slams the utility box, and the Wi-Fi hiccups so hard Big Yest flatlines. Every light on the router goes nightclub, then funeral. Cool, I say to nobody. Nature's QA team. I grab chopsticks from my noodle stash because, of course, I have those, and tape the router to the shelf like I'm splinting a bird wing. The Ethernet dangles like a sad noodle. I blow on it. Science. Mom walks in, balancing laundry like a circus act. She squints at my art installation. Why are there chopsticks on the internet? Structural support, I say. Very Scandinavian. Minimalist. She sets the laundry. Studies my face the way moms can see memory foam thoughts. When's the last time you ate something not in a brick shape? I lift a ramen packet like a business card. This is artisanal, hand-curled. She gives me the look. Soup doesn't count if it comes with a cartoon. I sigh. Fine. I'll eat a vegetable today. A single pea. A heroic pea. She softens. Your dad once taped a flashlight to the breaker and called it redundancy. He'd approve of the chopsticks. I smile despite wanting to crawl into the router and live there. Dad flashback hits like a warm draft. Him in this very room, tapping a stack of external drives. Backups are love letters to your future self, he said, side-eyeing my tin-tab browser chaos. Do future you a favor. Make them sweet. I mutter to the router. I wrote a sonnet, man. You just need to sing. The LEDs keep doing Morse code for help. I pop the panel on the utility box. The raccoon handprints are literal. Tiny gremlin tagged the coglocks with mud like it signed the crime scene. I wipe it with my shirt. Classy. Mom leans on the doorframe. Your sister texted. She says you're unstable. Accurate, I say. I'm currently duct taping the cloud. She doesn't laugh. I hate this part. I hate the space between. Yeah, I say. Waiting room energy. Cheap magazines. Bad coffee. She sits on the stool, small in Dad's big shop. You two were sweet once. She used to make you birthday cards with glitter. Remember? I remember glitter in the vents for 6 months, I say. Then softer. Yeah, I remember. Silence, except for the router sizzling like a patient on a heart monitor. Stakes slide back in. Sharp. If this router stays dead, my log stops streaming, and my airtight chain turns into, well, he said. If I call it now, I'm the hacker Goblin. If I wait without proof, she cements the lie. Also, if Mom believes her before I show my cards, I lose more than court. I lose home base. I tighten the chopsticks, whisper, "Live, you plastic jellyfish." The power light steadies. 1 bar. 2. The 5G blinks back like a sleepy eye. I don't breathe. Then, ping. My admin panel on the laptop flickers from gray to confetti. Events flood in, stacked like planes finally cleared to land. Device removed command recorded, trash events queued, duplicate uploads from cafe Wi-Fi for cousin's email headers. The iPad, God bless it, briefly blinks awake on trickle charge and shoves its buffered sync like a kid handing you rocks. Then it dies cute. I choke out a laugh. Mom flinches. Good news? Logs? I say. Whole choir. Off key, but loud. She squeezes my shoulder. Don't let this break you. It'll bend me, I say, then snap back out of spite. She kisses my hair. Eat a real meal. After court, I say. Carbs later. Justice now. Outside, the raccoon sits on the fence and judges me with people eyes. I nod at it. Thanks for the stress test, buddy. It sniffs, unimpressed, and moonwalks into the hedge. Competitive tension. Deeper edits. Dumber mistakes. So, the router lives, the logs sing, and Vanessa decides to speedrun advanced forgery. She opens preview like it's Photoshop and starts editing EXIF data on photos of Dad's signature. You can almost hear the checkbox whisper, "Girl, no." She changes created last Tuesday to created ancient times, saves, and smiles. Cute thing is, the cloud database keeps original create times in a separate table. It's like lying to a diary while the house nanny cams record everything. My admin panel notes her edits. Timestamp, device, IP, the button she clicked, the whole choreography. She even renames files to look older. Scan old arierwintage.png. Internal monologue. That's not patina. That's glitter glue on a tombstone. Across town, unaware the net is tight, she airdrops the PDF to a contact named Not Rick. That name stabs me with secondhand embarrassment. My logs grab his MAC address like a bouncer taking IDs. It's a perfect little fingerprint. Y points to a cheap white label laptop. Of course it does. The iPad, powered by dust and spite, wakes just long enough to sip the transfer thumbnails, then faceplants back to sleep. She tries email next. Subject, from Dad. Body, per my wishes. She spoofs a domain that looks like Dad's old company email, but SPF and DKIM scream fake so loud the server throws her message into the sun. Bounce report lands in her inbox. 3 seconds later, she forwards it to her cousin the lawyer with, "Weird glitch?" My panel shows the rejection with the technical reason, which in English reads, "Your mask is upside down." Then I watch her inside a shared doc. Yeah, she opened my Executor instruction shell and started typing over it like a raccoon carving their name into a church pew. I see the live cursor stutter, signed Dad once. Then again, because the first looked thin. She literally signed my empty decoy twice. The audit trail records the keystrokes. I whisper, "Bless you," to nobody. But here's the twist. Her cousin files for an injunction to block access to the cloud. It pings me like a smoke alarm. If it sticks, the judge could say, "Freeze everything," and my logs get side-eyed. Vanessa posts a smug story, seen by half the city. Boomerang of confetti over a laptop. Caption, "Clean wins." Internal monologue. Confetti is for winners, not for people who can't spell charity. Therefore, I crack the envelope Dad left with, "Open if they get greedy." But not yet. First, I file notice of Executor rights through the provider. It's quiet, boring, lawful. Exactly how I like my revenge. I send notarized proof, ID, death cert, the whole combo meal. Provider flips the switch. My account gets special fiduciary access tags that make judges hum and fraudsters itch. Now Vanessa's block the cloud move hits a wall labeled, "We respect legal authority." Sorry, hun. Humor beat. Mom wanders by and asks if I want tea. I say, I want SPF alignment, and she nods like that's chamomile with lemon. Vanessa, undeterred, tries to scrub the path on her Mac. She empties recent items, renames files to notes.docx, and drags them to a drive named Taxes 2018. Then she disconnects it mid-copy, like yanking toast out of a socket. My panel logs a printer spool artifact. Her machine rendered the forged PDF to raster and cached the path. /users/vanessa/desktop/finals/amendment Mario this one.pdf. You can delete the file. The printer remembers your sins. She texts not Rick, bring AirGuard. He shows up at a cafe, opens a sketchy cleaner app, taps deep shred. The laptop fan screams like a haunted stove. Meanwhile, the T2 security chip on that Mac writes a tidy note in its journal. Attempted wipe, keybag events, failure to nuke sealed volumes because file vault is on, and they guessed the password wrong 3 times. My logs don't get the T2 directly, but the system reports the failed wipe to console, which my sync agent already kissed and tucked in. I grin like a raccoon who found a rotisserie chicken. She gets petty. Changes folder dates with a terminal command she found on TikTok. Bless her heart. APFS snapshots still show the real timeline. My agent copies the snapshot catalog references. It's like trying to forge a calendar by moving days around and forgetting the moon exists. Her cousin calls me. Cease accessing the cloud. His voice has that law student chewiness. I say, I'm not accessing. It's syncing. He says, same thing. I say, tell gravity to cease. He hangs up. I add a note to my case file. Gravity remains undefeated. Humor beat. I practice my surprised face in the toaster and scare myself. I look like a trout who just learned taxes exist. Vanessa's last flourish of the day. She drafts a dad voice email in notes, pastes it into mail, and asks not Rick to send from a burner. The grammar is college essay after 3 margaritas. Dad never used ellipses like that. He used periods like doors. The burner hits a spam trap. I get the header from the provider anyway, thanks to my fiduciary tag. The return path screams, no. At this point, I could press play. But I want one more note in the melody. So I ping the provider for a lawful copy of the recently deleted vault for our share. Chain of custody time. #cert affidavit. They send me the package with a bow. Inside, every deleted, every empty, every little confetti boomerang. I pet the screen. You're beautiful. The injunction hearing date lands. Vanessa posts a cryptic quote card about truth shining. My cloud screen glows back. Audit trail ready. And me? I'm broke on the outside, steak ramen on the inside, and days away from letting the tech she mocked push the big red button for me. The secret executor reveal. So Dad left me 3 envelopes. One said, open on my birthday. One said, open when you forgive yourself. And the last one said, in his blocky Sharpie, open if they get greedy. I've been dodging that one like it's a cursed artifact. Today, I stopped dodging. I sit in the shop with the Raccoon prints drying on the utility box, pull the envelope from the fireproof tin, and crack the seal. Inside, not drama. Boring, beautiful paperwork. A notarized letter naming me executor. Dates that line up clean. Witness signatures from the 2 neighbors who collect antique tractors. It smells like toner and certainty. I almost cry on the notarization. There's a sticky note on it in Dad's handwriting. Don't gloat, record. That's my whole love language right there. I kiss the air like he can see me and stack the pages with reverence, like pancakes for the truth. I don't run into the kitchen yelling, surprise, you're toast. I put the papers back in the tin, slide the tin back into the shelf, and walk out holding only my cracked phone like I'm still a Raccoon king. Because the timing matters. If I flex early, Vanessa spins abuse of power. If I wait for court, the reveal has witnesses, a judge, and the sweet, sweet hum of a laser printer printing her own texts. So, step 1, use it. Don't wave it. I scan the executor letter with the creaky shop scanner. The beep sounds like a truck backing up into destiny. I upload it to the provider through their fiduciary portal, attach death cert, ID, and a photo of me holding today's newspaper like I'm a kidnapped nerd. A human writes back, "Received. Executor status verified." I screenshot that and whisper, "Yes, chef." Witty internal monologue. You ever realize you've been sitting in the captain's chair, making engine noises with your mouth, then someone hands you the actual keys? That? Except the ship is a filing system and the ocean is Judge Glare. Now the stakes. If I misplay this, the logs get tossed as tainted by access, and I become Exhibit A, Goblin tampered. If I play it right, the cloud sings in a choir robe, and every delete becomes deliver. Mom's trust hangs right there with it, swaying. I can feel it like a glass of water on the edge of a table. I call the provider rep. "Hey, I need a clean export with certification. Server-side copies only. No client-side weirdness. Hashes, chain, the whole charcuterie board." He says, "We can provide a custodian affidavit under rule something." I say, "Yes, the something. Put the seal on it." He laughs, then probably checks 3 boxes I built into that platform 5 years ago when Dad called me paranoid in a helpful way. Humor beat. Mom pokes her head in. "Why are you smiling at a fax?" I say, "It's email." She says, "Everything's a fax if it's boring." Vanessa texts me 4 times. First, stop accessing the cloud. Second, this is harassment. Third, I'll get an injunction. Fourth, a screenshot of an empty trash window with confetti. I reply to none of them. I drop my phone face down like a toddler put to bed. I email the lawyer. Simple. I acknowledge your instruction. For clarity, I'm acting in my capacity as executor. I attach the letter. He calls instantly. "You've been executor this whole time?" I say, "Yeah." He exhales like someone let him out of a small suitcase. "Okay, then we do this by the book. No heroics." I nod, which he can't see, but the universe hears. I take a shower because Petty is sweaty. In the mirror, I rehearse 2 lines. "Respectfully, Your Honor," and "Provider representative, would you please explain how deletion works?" I practice not sounding like a smug tech TED Talk. I practice swallowing the grin that wants to live on my face like a houseplant. Then I set the table for court in my head. What do I bring? The custodian affidavit from the provider, stamped and signed. The audit logs with timestamps, device IDs, IPs, hashes, the printer spool artifact naming her path, the failed spoof email header, the airdrop MAC address that screams not Rick, and the executor letter, quiet on top like a napkin. But I'm not done baiting. I have to look confused just a little longer, right? So I DM Vanessa. "Hey, can you send me that amendment again? I think I saw a typo." She replies, "Ask my lawyer." Perfect. That shows reluctance, not collusion. Put it in the scrapbook. That night, I sit with Mom on the couch. She knits stress into a lopsided scarf. "Are we safe?" she asks. I say, "We're backed up." She closes her eyes and nods like she believes me because she raised me. I feel a crack in my chest where a dad-shaped joke would normally wedge. I let it be quiet. Right before bed, I write 1 line in my notes. Don't humiliate, illuminate. I set an alarm titled, "Bring snacks so you don't pass out during justice." I lay out my thrift tee, my 1 decent shirt, and the envelope. I don't dream. I compile. The forensic chain. So now it's time to stop freestyling and do it by the book, like actual book. I email the provider through the executor portal and say, "Hi, I need a lawful mirror of the family share, server side only with certification." Which is nerd for, "Don't touch my client devices. Give me the clean stuff with a bow." They reply with this super dry message that reads like toast. "Request received. Preparing custodial export. Hashes will follow." Music to my petty little ears. I sign 3 forms that basically say, I'm allowed to be nosy. Then they flip the fiduciary flag. Instantly, my dashboard grows 2 new buttons, Audit Export and Deleted Items Vault. I press them like an elevator gremlin. A progress bar crawls, then spits out a tarball the size of Vanessa's entitlement. I unzip it, and it blooms into folders named Events, Versions, Recently Deleted, and Device Registry. I pet my laptop. "You're doing amazing, sweetie." I open Events first. Every line is a tiny police report. Upload hash, user ID, device ID, IP, exact second, SHA-256, like a license plate. I search for her Mac. Boom. Upload. Amendment Intrastandis 1.pdf. Device Vanessa MVP IP 73.191 42.xx hash 9 CDE B47. Then 37 minutes later, delete event received. Then trash purge. Then the chef's kiss, restore from peer sync, shop iPad, same hash. It's basically the cloud saying, she dropped it, I picked it up. Thanks. Next, device registry. It lists hardware like a yearbook. There's Vanessa MVP, Not Rick Mac, Mom iMac, and my undead gremlin shop iPad, all with MAC addresses and friendly fingerprints. I highlight Not Rick's entry and screen cap it, because nothing says romance is dead like an OUI prefix from a bargain bin motherboard. Now, the recently deleted vault. It's like walking into her basement and finding a museum. Selfie after purge, screenshot of empty trash. 5 variants of final. One called Real This, one too. Which, girl, come on. Each file has versions attached. Version 1 with Comic Serious, version 2 with Kerning Crimes, version 3 with a bigger fake seal. Version history is rude like that. It remembers. Provider pings again. Certification packet ready. I download a PDF with a watermark so official it smells like mahogany. It's the custodian affidavit. The human whose job title is Records Compliance swears the logs are automatic, routine, and unaltered, and attaches the export hash. I grin because this is the golden ticket judges like to eat with tea. I'm not done. I pull the printer spool artifact off her max cache jobs because, yes, when you print, your machine rasterizes the doc and writes a little breadcrumb. The export shows /users/Vanessa/desktop/finals amendment interiodis 1.pdf was spooled at 2:11 p.m. to a printer that didn't exist when Dad signed. I whistle low. You beautiful snitch. I snagged the email header from her spoof attempt. SPF sock fail, DKIM none, DMark reject. Translation. The mail server looked at her fake mustache and said, "Girl, no." I bundle that with the bounce notice to show intent. Not oops, but plot. I also grabbed the airdrop dance. The cloud agent notes nearby device IDs during share events for usability, which, surprise, is also forensics. There's a tiny JSON with Not Rick's Bluetooth and Wi-Fi max, time-stamped right when the amendment file flew across the cafe table. It's basically a receipt that says they traded lies over burnt coffee. For completeness, I pull the server-side versions file for the wedding toast folder. That bait? She dropped her fake dad praising her audio in there later. The NAS mirror on my side already matched studio tags on the original, but this export shows she replaced, then deleted, then emptied, and the vault quietly hugged all 3. Set, match, karaoke. Chain of custody time. I print the custodian affidavit, staple like a sturgeon, and sign my own declaration. I didn't tamper. I didn't pull from client caches. I didn't remote into her machine. The data came from automated business records. I even list my steps like a recipe. Requested under executor rights, received sealed export, computed hashes, compared, documented. Boom. Boring is beautiful. Humor beat. Mom peeks in and sees the mountain of paper. Why does truth need so many trees? I wave the affidavit. Because lies like shade. I call the lawyer. I've got provider logs. Upload, delete, purge, restore, with hashes, device IDs, and IP addresses. Also, printer cache, spoof headers, and airdrop fingerprints. Plus, the custodian affidavit. He goes silent, then says, "Try not to smile in court." I practice my deadpan. I look like a solemn potato. Right before I close the laptop, another export finishes. System alerts. Inside is a note that bguest pushed a remove device command against shop iPad from Vanessa MVP at 3:02 p.m. I screenshot the absolute audacity. It's like trying to delete the smoke detector while holding a lit match. The server responded. Acknowledged. Event recorded. I whisper, "Thank you, sassy robot." So now the table's set. The logs don't just say something happened. They say she did it. Here's when. Here's how. Here's the machine. Here's the coffee. Here's the printer that wasn't born yet. Clean, neat, court ready. No hacker vibes, just receipts. I stack the packet, tap the edges straight, and hear Dad in my head. Don't gloat. Record. Done. Now we let the choir sing. Breathing room, wedding video bait. So while the paperwork choir warms up, I drop a teaser that's basically catnip for control freaks. I make a new slideshow folder in the family cloud called Dad's Last Toast. Inside, nothing. Empty like my veggie intake. The file name does the flex. The iPad perks up, the server hums, and I leave it sitting there like a shiny red button that says do not push. Why that bait? The wedding toast is the one time Dad went full Hallmark on camera. He said, "Both my kids are my best bets." Vanessa hated how equal it sounded. So I set the table. One empty plate, one hungry liar, one camera roll with originals asleep on my NAS mirror like a dragon on gold. She bites before lunch. Audit ping. Dad's Last Toast, opened by Vanessa MVP. She snoops around, peeks into clips, touches audio, then drops a file named finaltoast.wave. My logs note the path. My soul notes the audacity. I don't listen. Not yet. I let the trap season. An hour later, she organizes, which means she deletes the real toast from the shared photos folder, our copy of the camera master I let sit there on purpose. Then she drags her final toast wife into Dad's Last Toast, like a magician palming a card. She empties trash with that fake clean grin you can hear in the packets. My iPad recovers. My NAS mirror across the room quietly yawns, compares fingerprints, and goes, "That's not our guy." Humor beep. I practice my surprised face in the toaster again, angle my eyebrows up like, "No way? Justice?" I look like a cartoon seal trying to understand Wi-Fi. Perfect. Court safe. Back to the tech. The studio tagged Dad's mic audio with a metadata stamp from the rental rig. Those tags are like spices. Hard to fake if you don't cook. Her finaltoast.wave has no studio tag. Gain ramped weird, room hiss from the dining room AC. The NAS mirror flags the mismatch in 3 seconds flat. I do a tiny chair dance that scares the router. She's not done. She edits the file name to finaltoastmaster.wave because caps lock makes lies real, then creates a text doc beside it, transcript for court. First line reads, "Vanessa, my rock." Dad would rather eat uncooked pasta than say "my rock" out loud. He said solid, like a contractor. She goes full Pinterest. I pull the camera originals off the NAS, multiple angles, 2 mics, that clink of glasses right before Dad says our names. I lock them in a folder named Stubborn Vegetables, because if Vanessa ever sees that, she'll assume it's kale memes and not touch it. Then I script a tiny crossfade scene in my head. Court, play her master, then smash cut to the real toast, with studio tags and time code. Minimal words. Maximum whiplash. She takes a selfie, again, smirking next to her laptop, captioned in notes, "Fixed the toast, finally gives me credit." Deleted in seconds. Hugged by Vault in milliseconds. I whisper, "Girl, you're doing great," to the audit trail. Mom wanders in with tea, catches my grin. "Don't be mean. I'm being precise," I say. Mean is imprecise. She eyes the folder names. Dad's Last Toast, huh? Yeah, it's safe. Good. He worked hard on that. Practiced in the garage for an hour. I blink. He did? She smiles. He asked if my best bets sounded cheesy. I said, "It sounds true." He said, "Good." I swallow a rock and nod. Then we keep it true. The provider pings me with one more gift, an audio hash comparison tool inside the portal I literally helped spec 2 years ago. I drop her master in the studio original. Result, mismatch highlighted in angry orange with a tidy note. Different source, different noise floor. I screenshot it and named the file vanessapolls.wave.pdf.png.joy. So yeah, that empty folder, not empty anymore. It's holding her lie, the proof she planted it, and the switch I get to flip in front of a judge. And the best part? I don't have to explain any of it like a TED Talk. I just press play and let Dad speak. Dark side reveal, why she hates me. I find her on the back porch, barefoot, phone face down, staring at the dark yard like it owes her rent. The cicadas are doing EDM. I sit on the step, 2 boards down, safe distance. She doesn't look at me. "You win," she says, flat. I laugh once. "At what? Chopstick carpentry?" She drags a hand over her face. "Mascara war paint. He always liked you better." There it is, the rot wrapped in ribbon. He liked both of us. Equally. Annoyingly. She snorts. Cute. You were the son who talked in code. You'd come home with a backpack and disappear into the garage, and he'd say, "Leave him. He's building." Me? I brought him pitch decks and donors and charity galas, and he said, "Don't make noise." Noise is expensive, I mutter reflex. She hears it and flinches. Right. That's the tone. The tone that says, "You are inefficient." I was in high heels on forklifts trying to learn his stupid world while you wrote a magic script that made boxes dance, and you pretended you were just fixing Wi-Fi. I stare at the yard. I didn't want the fights, the crown, any of it. You wanted applause without a stage, she snaps. You coded the logistics AI that saved his margins and then hid behind Ramen like a monk. Meanwhile, I wore a target to every meeting because I looked like a brunch post. You let me be the face you hated. I swallow. The word AI lands heavy. How do you even know? She barks a laugh. Dad told me when he was high on morphine and thought the IV pole was a coat rack. Your brother made the engine hum, he said, proud like you painted the moon. Then he looked at me and said, "You keep the people from killing each other." I was the napkin. You were the machine. That's not how it was. Don't do that, she says, sharp. Don't gaslight me with spreadsheets. You were his favorite problem to solve. He wanted you to take the company, and you said no. He offered me scraps with a tiara, so I made a tiara you'd respect. You forged a crown, I say, too soft. Because I was invisible, she fires back. I'm not excusing it. I'm explaining it. Every time I opened my mouth, he said, "Record it, we'll review." He never said, "Good job, Ness." He said, "Not yet." Then you'd shuffle in with noodles and a USB, and he'd light up. Do you know what that does to a person? Watching a garage get more attaboys than your whole body? I pick a splinter from the step. For what it's worth, I hated being the Goblin. You wore it like armor, she says. You loved being underestimated. It made you feel safe. I loved being overestimated. It made me feel alive. We're both fake. I breathe that in. It stinks like truth. I didn't tell you about the stack because if I did, you'd want to scale it, pitch it, sell it, and I wanted peace. You wanted to hoard, she says. Call it peace if it helps you sleep. Dad's voice is still on those mics, I say. He said both kids were his best bets. He meant it. She stares at the trees. Best bet loses sometimes. Silence presses. The cicadas drop the bass. I think about all the times I let her do the social war so I didn't have to. I think about the first time I hid behind broke as a joke and how much it paid in quiet. She whispers, "I'm not a monster." I know, I say. You're hurt, and you turned it into a plan. And you turned it into a trap, she says, then laughs at the sky. God, we're a show. Pain explains, I say. It doesn't excuse. She wipes tears like she's mad at them. I could have asked you for help. You did, I say, surprised at my own mouth. When you asked for the Wi-Fi, when you asked me to fix Dad's stupid scanner, when you handed me a USB like a live snake. You've been asking me to see you for months. She sucks in her breath. And you saw a suspect. I saw a sister who was about to do something she couldn't undo, I say. So I put a net under it. She finally looks at me. Her eyes are a whole weather pattern. You're still going to drop me. I'm going to stop you, I say. Not drop you. What's the difference? Dropping is punishment. Stopping is breaks, boundaries. I grimace. God, I sound like a podcast. She huffs. You always did. Then softer. He wanted you to be executor, didn't he? I nod. No flourish. Yeah. She nods back, slow. Open if we got greedy. I blink. He tell you that? He left me one too, she says, and digs in her sweater pocket. She pulls a tiny folded note, paper worn thin. She hands it to me. It's 3 words in Dad's block caps. Be kind anyway. It hits like a gut punch. He knew. He always knew, she says. He knew I wanted the room to clap. He knew you wanted the room empty. He bet on both. I hated that. I'm sorry, I say. Real, not polite. She nods at the yard. If I walk back this, do I get to keep a life? You lose the crown, I say. You keep your name. She swallows. And you won't? Send me to jail? I want accountability, not ruin, I say. Community service, repayments, no more charity reallocations, real work. She groans at my petty jab, then actually smiles, tiny. You saw that typo. I see you, I say. She looks at her phone, then flips it back face down. I'm not gonna stop you. I know. She stands, wraps her arms around herself, then asks, almost childlike, does Mom hate me? Mom hates conflict, I say. She loves you. She nods. Okay. Then she adds, he'd be mad at me. He'd say, don't fight, record, I say. And we both laugh through garbage throats. She steps off the porch, starts toward the door, stops. You're still a goblin. Goblin with receipts, I say. She shakes her head, half fond, half furious. Tomorrow's going to hurt. Yeah, I say. But then it won't. The courtroom sink bomb. Buckle up. We walk into court like we're returning a cursed blender. Vanessa's in a white blazer that screams innocent. I'm in my one decent shirt that screams thrifted. Mom clutches tissues like they're rosary beads for people who gave up. The judge looks like a librarian who lifts. Her cousin lawyer stands first. Your Honor, this is simple. A grieving daughter brings forth Dad's amendment. Her brother, self-admitted IT meddler, tampered with the shared cloud. He does a hand flourish like he's tossing pizza dough. I swallow a laugh and focus on my iPad. Dim screen, low battery gremlin, ready to bite. My lawyer stands. Calm. Respectfully, Your Honor, we'll show routine business records, not words from the brother, showing upload, deletion, and restoration events, all tied to specific devices and IP addresses. The judge nods like, cute, continue. I slide the iPad onto the evidence camera. It blinks, synced. The room does a tiny inhale. Start with the deleted texts, my lawyer says. He taps, and boom, Vanessa's. Finally cleaned his mess, bathroom mirror selfie appears on the big screen like it paid for VIP. A timestamp sits in the corner. Then the follow-up. Screenshot of empty trash. The judge's eyebrows do a cautious push-up. Vanessa's cousin pops up. Objection, foundation. The judge grunts. We'll hear foundation. My lawyer smiles with his molars. We have a custodian affidavit from the provider, certifying these are automated business records created in the normal course of sync. He hands it up. The judge reads fast. My heartbeat does Morse code for say yes. All right, the judge says, dry as toast. Play it. So we scroll the audit trail. Each line is a little truth burrito. Upload, amendment, realith, this one. PDF, device, Vanessa MVP, IP, her house, hash, 9CDE, B47. Then, delete, trash purge, restore from peer device, shop iPad, same hash. The judge leans closer, glasses low, like the screen might confess a second sin if she squints. Then the bomb drop. My lawyer taps a live view button. The iPad, God bless its undead soul, begins restoring recently deleted in real time. Thumbnails blossom, selfies, screenshots, 5-inch final variations. The miracle PDF doing costume changes. The judge actually gasps. Not dramatic, just real. A tiny human sound like, oh. Across the aisle, Vanessa goes statue. Her cousin lawyer swallows hard enough to count as cardio. Mom sobs once, choked, like she bit a memory. I stay still. My hands want to clap. My face wants to break. Chain of custody? The judge asks. My lawyer walks her through the checklist. Executor flag, server-side export, hashes, timing, provider affidavit. He doesn't say, I told you so. That's my job inside my skull. Cousin lawyer tries to pivot. Even if that's true, the amendment stands. He waves the USB like a talisman. The judge tilts her head. Let's see the original. He plugs it in. The projector throws up the yard sale of fonts. It's worse at 120 inches. Comic Serious yells inside my brain. My lawyer, gentle. Properties. The cousin fumbles, opens the PDF info. Printed by LaserJet Pro X120. The judge waits. My lawyer, still gentle. Manufactured after the listed sign date. Silence, except for me screaming internally where no one can arrest me. Play the audio, my lawyer says. Vanessa flinches. The cousin blinks. What audio? My lawyer smiles. The wedding toast. He taps her final toast master Daryl wave. Dad's voice comes out weird, syrupy, off mic, too much room hiss, with a line that doesn't sound like his mouth. Vanessa, my rock. The judge looks at me. I shake my head tiny. Then the actual toast rolls. Studio tag sings. Glasses clink. Dad's voice, solid like 2x4s. Both my kids are my best bets. Vanessa cracks down the middle like ice in hot tea. Mom puts a tissue to her mouth and crumples. The judge stares a beat longer than normal humans stare. Cousin lawyer staggers back to tech speak. Fabrication, he barks. He stops, smart for once. The judge holds a hand up. Do we have a provider representative? My lawyer nods. A person in a gray suit stands, says their name, job title, records compliance, music to my petty bones. Explain the log, the judge says. They do, in plain English. When a user uploads a file, it generates a unique fingerprint called a hash. When the file is deleted, we mark it for removal, but under retention, it remains recoverable for 30 days. If another device synced it, we preserve that copy. Our systems record device names and IP addresses to resolve conflicts. Can the user alter your logs? The judge asks. The rep shakes their head. No, Your Honor. These are server-generated, not user-editable. Cousin lawyer tries. What if the brother's spoofed? The rep, polite. He can't write to our audit tables. I exhale a laugh that sounds like a cough. The judge cuts me a look. I pretend to be a solemn potato again. Anything else? The judge asks. My lawyer flips one last card. Printer spool artifact. Big on screen. /users/Vanessa/desktop/finals/amendment Greeley this one by PDF. The judge's mouth goes a perfect line. And the injunction? Cousin asks, voice thin now. The judge sighs. Based on this, I'm not inclined to block routine access by the executor. The room exhales, then freezes, because this is where feelings live. Darkness thread hits. Mom cries into her hands. Vanessa shakes like her bones are arguing. I feel sick and calm, like motion sickness on a smooth escalator. I look at my sister. She isn't looking at me. She's looking at the empty space where Dad would sit if he could, and that's worse than any line of code. Here's the court's finding, the judge says. The alleged amendment is not credible. The audit trail is. Assets are unfrozen. Claims based on the so-called amendment are denied. Cousin lawyer slumps like a deflated float. Vanessa bites her lip until it goes white. We done? The judge asks. My lawyer nods. I whisper, almost. Then I look at Vanessa, just long enough to mean it, and pack the iPad. It blinks, synced, like a wink from a ghost with receipts. The battle escalator. Bigger war. We step into round 2, and surprise, there's a brass band. Her cousin lawyer files a PR blitz so fast my phone grows blisters. Brave daughter defends Dad's legacy from tech-abusive brother. There's a glossy photo of Vanessa hugging a labradoodle that isn't hers. A charity pops up overnight, the Arthur Foundation, which is just her initials rearranged with angel wings. They slap my face next to a matrix of scary words. Hacking, coercion, digital manipulation. I'm like, cool, at least use my good side. They pitch it hard. Who really honored Dad's intent? Headlines nibble. Comment sections chirp. Why does brother have all the power? Someone calls me Router Rasputin, which is kind of fire. Mom stops reading. Smart. Name the battle because labels stick. Intent. Not vibes. Not PR. Dad wrote stuff down. He recorded things. He left instructions boring enough to make liars fall asleep mid-scheme. So I go full librarian. I wheel in a binder called Backup Plan. Dad's, not mine. Inside, college funds for staff kids, retention bonuses, small scholarship in grandma's name, and a clause that literally says, if they fight, slow them down. Cousin lawyer waves their charity brochure. Sunglasses, sepia, baby smiling at clouds. My client just wants to honor her father by giving back, he purrs. I raise a hand like I'm hailing a taxi. Your Honor, Dad already named charities, by name, with routing numbers. I plot pages. The judge scans and nods. The PR halo flickers like a dying bulb. They pivot to coercion. He bullied her, cousin says, pointing at my thrift shirt like it can commit crimes. He controlled the Wi-Fi, the devices, the narrative. He isolated her from counsel. My lawyer sighs and presses play on a voicemail. Dad's voice, gravel and oak. Don't fight. Record. Beat. If they get loud, write it down. Truth always lands. The room relaxes like someone opened a window. Cousin tries to object to reality. Denied. Humor beat. The bailiff coughs, and I swear it sounds like he said, Router Rasputin. I keep my solemn potato face. Inside, I'm cackling in dial-up. They fling one more dart. He wants the crown. I shake my head so fast, my hair does a firmware update. I want the company to run itself, I say. Dad wrote a governance plan. Independent board, me and product, no throne. Crowns give me hives. I hold up the page where Dad underlined no dynasties twice, like he was mad at monarchy. The judge zeroes in. Walk me through your tactics, she says. Not the tech, the ethics. So I lay it out in toddler words. I set up a cloud with logs so we'd have a record. I didn't write her files. I didn't remote in. I let the system do what it's designed to do. Remember, she narrows her eyes. In the toaster selfies? I smile. That was me practicing not to smirk. A tiny laugh escapes the gallery. Vanessa almost smiles too, then remembers hating me. We talk staff, because people, not pixels. I present the spreadsheet Dad loved like a second child. Years served, titles, the names he scribbled next to bonuses. I say, these checks go out within 30 days. Cousin snarls, grandstanding. The judge says, executing a will. I don't look at Vanessa. This isn't about dunking. This is about groceries and braces and rent. They try to reanimate the miracle PDF one last time. Maybe Dad tinkered, cousin says, meek. My lawyer, patient. Then why do printer logs name her desktop? Why does the file hash match the upload from her house? Cousin deflates like a pool toy in November. PR coughs again online. Bloggers post spicy thumbnails. I get DMs from strangers calling me a data tyrant. I turn my phone face down and breathe. Dad's last envelope. Open when you forgive yourself. Scratches at my pocket. Not yet. The judge lifts the gavel without lifting it. Here's the outcome. And she speaks slow, so every word sinks. Injunction lifted. Assets unfrozen. The foundation as shield is denied. True charities listed in the plan will receive funds per schedule. Executor will implement governance. Independent board seated within 60 days. Any further amendment submissions will be treated with extreme skepticism. Translation? Sit down. Cousin reaches for one more straw. Sanctions? He means me. The judge stares him into dust. For using logs to preserve truth? No. For forging and deleting? We'll address consequences separately. Vanessa winces. I taste metal and mercy at the same time. We step into the hall, and the smear cameras are waiting. A mic hits my chin. Do you have a response to claims you weaponized tech against your sister? I blink slow. We weaponized truth. It stings less if you stop lying. Probably not the media training answer. Whatever. Humor beat. A reporter asks, are you in fact Router Rasputin? I deadpan. I prefer Switchboard Shrek. The clip goes minor viral. Mom groans. Fair. Back in the conference room, I slide a folder to cousin lawyer. Board nominees. Dad's picks plus one staff rep. He flips, jaw tight. You're serious. I nod. I build tools. They run the ship. No crown. Allergic. He looks at Vanessa. She nods. Tiny. Name the battle again. Just to tattoo it on the day. Who honored Dad's intent? The logs. The boring plans. The voice on tape. Not the font crimes. Not the confetti. The judge bangs the real gavel this time, and it sounds like a door closing gently on a storm. Retribution with mercy. So we win the big one, and everybody expects me to swing the hammer like Thor. I leave the hammer in the trunk. I'm allergic to prison decor and family mugshots. First move, I tell the DA, we're not pushing for jail. The room does a record scratch. Cousin lawyer blinks like his firmware crashed. I add, we want accountability and prevention, not a headline. Translation. Fix the leak. Don't flood the house. Settlement time. I slide a term sheet that looks boring enough to cure insomnia. That's on purpose. Boring saves futures. The trust pays out Dad's list first. Staff bonuses, college funds for their kids, the clinic he loved, Grandma's scholarship. On a schedule with receipts you could eat off. Mom's care? Fully funded, auto-drafted, locked behind a button that even I can't fat finger. Humor beat. I label Mom's account Raccoon proof. She laughs until she cries, then cries until she laughs. Healing sounds weird. Next, Vanessa. She loses control. No more signing authority, no more charity reallocations, no more confetti screenshots. She reimburses legal fees from her share and does community service at Dad's clinic because consequences should smell like rubbing alcohol and humility. No microphones, no gala lighting. Real work, charts, phone calls, listening to people who need things you can't fake. She nods, a little pale. How long? I say. 6 months, then reassess. She winces like I offered kale. Then she says, okay, like a person who wants to stop drowning, even if shore looks boring. I keep the company, but not the crown. We seat the independent board Dad wrote down when he wasn't being romantic. A staff rep gets a vote. I go to product. I build tools. I don't do ribbon cuttings or handshake photos with hands that look like raw chicken. Allergic, remember? Cousin lawyer tries for a last jab. You're protecting her because you feel guilty. I deadpan, because I read the plan. He doesn't laugh. Fine. Not everything's a crowd pleaser. We file the paperwork. My signature looks like a raccoon tripped with a pin, but the stamp lands and the system says received, and I swear the server purrs. Provider rep emails, congrats. I reply with a confetti emoji, then delete it, then laugh because, yeah, irony. Mom pulls Vanessa into a hug that looks like she's knitting a person back together. I hover like a lamppost, hands full of forms and feelings. Vanessa looks over Mom's shoulder at me and mouths, thank you. I shrug like I just tightened a loose hinge. Inside, my heart does CrossFit. Humor beat. A reporter corners me outside and asks, is forgiveness part of your brand? I say, sleep is part of my brand. They blink. Great quote, champ. Back at the shop, I tape the last legal envelope next to Dad's pegboard of wrenches. Open when you forgive yourself. I'm not there yet. I press it to my forehead like it's holy anyway. One day, not today. Vanessa starts at the clinic Monday. She texts me a photo of her in scrubs, hair in a knot, 0 filters, cheeks flushed from sprinting after a patient's insurance form. Caption, I think Dad would have liked this. I reply with the toast clip. She sends back a single period. It lands like a cathedral bell. I push staff bonuses first. The night shift manager emails back 6 exclamation points and a photo of her kid holding a new backpack. I don't cry. The router sweats into my eyes. Shut up. We set the scholarship. Applications pop like popcorn. Essay after essay about grit and buses and algebra on break room napkins. I highlight lines the way Dad used to highlight line items, with little stars that mean, pay attention, this matters. Cousin lawyer posts a medium rare apology that tastes like PR chewing gum. I let it float away. The smear accounts go quiet. Switchboard Shrek trends for a minute, then the internet forgets me. Blessed. At dinner, Mom taps her glass. To Arthur, she says. We all say, to Arthur, and nobody breaks. Vanessa adds, into boring plans, then grins at me like a truce flag. I salute with a fork. Steak ramen. Don't judge me. Last administrative beat. I set alerts so delete triggers a second copy and a push notification that says deliver. Petty? Maybe. Peaceful? Extremely. Final mercy note. I add therapy coverage to the family plan. Quiet line item. No balloons. Vanessa books a slot. She doesn't know I saw the claim. She doesn't need to. Moral math? Quick and dirty. Pain explains, not excuses. Boundaries hold, not hurt. Truth sinks slow, lands heavy, then lets you breathe. I walk out to the shop, set the iPad on its shelf, and plug it in like a tired friend. It blinks awake. Synced. I grin. We're good. The ramen epilogue. So, yeah, we won. And I still eat ramen. Except now it's steak ramen. Dawn at me. I slice ribeye thin, drop it in like a luxury leaf, and the noodles go, "Sir?" Growth. Mom walks in, sees the bowl, sighs, and proud disappointment. At least it's not a packet dry. I raise my chopsticks. Progress, Your Honor. She kisses my head, steals a steak slice, and says, "He'd be impressed and also furious." Accurate. I buy Mom a router that could stop a meteor. We name it Dad in all caps, so when it drops connection, I can yell, "Dad, please," and heal my inner child by rebooting it. The raccoon comes back, sniffs it, shrugs like, "Not today," and leaves a polite footprint. We're learning boundaries, even with wildlife. Payroll hits. Staff bonuses land. My phone buzzes with photos I didn't ask for, but absolutely needed. A new backpack. A fixed car door held together with something that isn't hope. A dental appointment confirmation with 12 emojis. I screenshot until my camera roll looks like a gratitude ransom note. Vanessa starts at the clinic. First day, she texts a bathroom mirror pic and scrubs with a caption, "I smell like disinfectant and humility." I send a thumbs up and the toast clip again because I'm annoying. She replies with one word, "Heard." Then she calls Mom on her break and listens while Mom rants about squirrels like they're organized crime. Healing is weird and so domestic. Humor beat. I install a tiny camera in the shop just to catch the raccoon's soap opera life. First night, it stares into the lens like a confessional. I whisper, "Forgive me, Father, for I have wifey'd." It steals a single zip tie and leaves. Honestly, same. Board meeting, week 1. The staff rep rolls in with a notebook filled with actual ideas, not buzzword salad. I take notes like a freshman. We kill a vanity project, greenlight a scheduling tool that saves night shifters an hour a week. That sound you hear is my soul high-fiving policies. The smear fades. Switchboard Shrek becomes a meme on a t-shirt some intern made, and I buy 2 because I contain multitudes. Cousin Lawyer posts a vague lessons learned LinkedIn essay. I clap silently from 3 zip codes away. I open Dad's "Forgive Yourself" envelope. Nah, not yet. I set it back on the pegboard and touch it like a promise you're brave enough to keep later. Soon. After a few more boring victories. Vanessa drops off a box. Inside, the fake USB, the miracle PDFs. A note that says, "Recycle these into something useful." I 3D print a router foot out of the plastic. Petty upcycling. Dad would roll his eyes and then ask about firmware. Humor beat. Mom asks the board to name a conference room. They pick backups. So people actually say, "I'll meet you in backups at 3, and I laugh like a kid every time. Therapy will discuss this. I fund a therapy line item. Quiet. No neon. Vanessa books a weekly slot. I don't mention it. She doesn't mention that I don't mention it. Adulting is 90% leaving space and 10% buying snacks. At night, I cook steak ramen again and park in the shop with the iPad on its stand. It blinks, synced. That word used to feel like a flex. Now it feels like a breath. Truth doesn't sprint. It lumbers in, drops receipts, drinks water, and naps. Mom leans on the doorframe. "You look lighter." I shrug. Switched some heavy stuff to read only. She laughs and taps the iPad. "Tell it thanks." I salute it with chopsticks. "Good work, buddy." It blinks like a sleepy lighthouse. Vanessa texts, "I'm sorry." I reply with the real toast clip. Just the line, no lecture. She hearts it, then sends a photo of a clipboard and a note. "Mrs. Alvarez got her meds sorted. It's the smallest, biggest thing." I breathe out a month of static. I thought winning would feel like confetti. It feels like floorboards that don't squeak. The toaster reflection holds my dumb grin while the iPad flashes one word in soft blue. Synced, then fades to calm. If you want more traps where delete means deliver and receipts smack louder than excuses, hit subscribe right now. Watch the next story where a lost password finds a thief, a raccoon triggers a data breach, and a lie face plants on camera. Tap the bell, binge the chaos, and tell me who I should outsmart next. Because the cloud remembers, and I bring snacks.